Computer. Live.
Yes, y'all. You are now tuned into the Melodrama Podcast. I go by the name of Speak Easy. I am joined by Big Trip, aka Buckwheat, and Dima on the 28th and 29th.
I think we'll need an explanation.
What the fuck is up in the place to be? All right, Trip, you got to break this one down, bro. I usually look before we hit record. I usually look so I know, how I'm introducing people. So, I mean, Trip has a really dope shirt on, so I was looking at his shirt. So, you know what I'm saying? It says how you say that? Melanaire?
Yeah.
Full of melanin. So I'm like, that's a dope shirt because
Oh, shit.
the gold pops, you know what I'm saying, on the black. So I'm like, okay, that's a dope shirt. I'm like, mental note, you gotta ask Trip for one of those shirts, right? And then I'm talking, look at his name, and I'm like, see, dude, Trip, what? Help
That's
us
very
out,
healthy.
bro.
Very healthy.
I don't know.
Help us out. Buckwheat is very
What?
healthy for you.
Very healthy.
So when you was logging in, what made you go there?
Well, I didn't change my name when I logged in,
Okay.
so
okay.
it had my government, and
Gotcha.
then I don't know. I just put in buckwheat. Like,
Just random. Oh, dude.
you gotta do random shit sometimes, man. You gotta keep people on their toes.
Oh man.
Like, you thought I was gonna be over here, but I was over there. So when I'm supposed to
Officially.
be over there, I'm gonna be over here.
You know what I'm saying?
It's like when I'm right, I'm wrong, but when I'm wrong, I'm right. Because even
Right.
when I'm wrong, I was right because I was right that I was gonna be wrong.
And that's not left. That's right.
Because 3 rights make a left.
Every time. Demon, what's up with you, man? What's been up?
Head spinning from this right wrong. Not much, man.
It's just Demon. If you do wrong 3 times, you're right.
Nice.
All right, I'm gonna make a note of that one.
Yeah, we'll see how that passes. The honey, I'm right.
Like, cause technically, but what's been up with you, man?
Not much. Just another week gone by. Kind of fast. I don't know, I can't believe it's like nearing winter time and shit.
Yeah, dude.
This.
Crazy. I took off this week, and it's been great, man. It's been great because it's like as a leader of a team, you're always trying to lead by example and tell people you got to take your time and you got to X, Y, and Z. And like, we had a bunch of busy stuff happening at work, and like I finally was like, okay, dude, you gotta walk the talk. You gotta take some time. So like, I didn't do much. I didn't plan much. It was just like the pleasure and ability to do nothing because I don't feel like it has been great.
Yeah.
It's been great. I'm not gonna lie. It's been amazing. So even though work starts back tomorrow, I'm already planning when's my next vacation. I'm cool with it. I'm cool with the staycation, man. I don't need to be on an island. I just need my peace. You know what I'm saying? Give me some books and some shit, and I'll be all right.
I was expecting to work nights all weekend, but then the work got canceled until Monday, so my weekend opened up, and that was kind of nice. So yeah, same. This weekend was
That's
pretty
dope.
I chose what I wanted to do and did it.
Yeah, man.
That was good. Interesting conversation I had with a friend yesterday that was like about like different film ideas that could be interesting, and one of them was like I was on a conversation, but it was like every person feels a certain way and sees themselves a certain way, and then the people around you perceive you a certain way from their experiences with you. So like, what if you had like 3 or 4 people that you followed in a film that you're in the same room or the same event and you're perceiving things a certain way, but everybody else's perception of you is different because they see you a certain way. And what is that difference in how big is that difference? That was kind of interesting. But then we got talking on the point of, how everybody like tries to be their best self, maybe.
Yep.
You have these like aspirations and you want to, like, oh, I want to be at a certain level by the time I'm 45, like wealth wise or family wise, whatever.
Yeah.
And we were just thinking about like remembering when we were 25, having these aspirations, and now looking back 11 years at 36, like, damn, it flew by really fast. And really, like, the needle didn't move that much. So, what's going to happen in the next 10 years, and how far away will you be from where you want to be or want it to be at 25? And how
Gotcha.
that time will fly too, and like where will you be there, and if not,
Yeah.
what do you need to do to get there? And we kind of came down to like, well, if you plan starting now for the next 10 years to gain a billionaire dollar friend, that's gonna land you in a successful place.
It will or will not.
Yeah, if you befriend a billionaire and
If
that's
that's
your goal for the next 10 years, you probably the best way to go.
Wow.
Because then you're set.
Oh man.
Whatever you want to do, you'll be able to do.
Listen, I've been working on my plan to get pregnant by Oprah for like 20 years. So far,
You're
that
gonna
shit
get
is.
pregnant by Oprah.
Listen, bro. Look, that's,
Whatever it takes. Huh?
listen. You said gain a billionaire friend. So I don't know. So far, I haven't been
Oprah?
successful, and this has been like 20 years. Yeah. I mean, who else? I mean, she's got a bag, bro.
Yeah, she does.
You got to share with Stedman and Gail.
That's fine. We can be like the best poly group ever. I mean, they're already in the circle, so if I can infiltrate this almighty circle, fam, I'm great because they've been a throuple for like decades. So, and here comes little old me, like bam. You know what I'm saying? Just to spice it up. Young Speak.
You don't have your ass walking around smelling like mothballs and shit.
No, I'm sure I'll be it'll be like lavender and hemp.
You'll be signing so many legal forms, your head's gonna be spinning.
You know what I'm
You'll
saying?
sign one that doesn't give you any money, and you'll be fucked. And then
Hey, she gonna fuck around, have him sign a form to say he owe her if they break up.
Because I saw like her 50 lawyers and shit. Oh man, listen, anything is
It's
possible.
gonna be like the reverse version to Get Out. They're gonna be sitting around drinking coffee. She gonna tap the cup. We'll never see Speak again. He gonna fall in the sunken place.
Oh man, dude.
We see him. He gonna be singing country music. No more rap.
Speaks changed, man.
Instead of me singing country music. Trip calls me. I'm like, I'm out with Randy Travis right now.
Truck shopping.
I'm looking for an F-150.
Walking around in cowboy boots and shit, with a big ass hat.
Oh, listen, man. Anything is possible. You listen. But so interesting about that take, though, Dima, is like, I like that idea for like a movie, but then think about it, because this is the movie that we live every day.
Mm-hmm.
And then in addition to that, we live this movie in reality, and then we also live this movie on social media.
Yeah.
Because
wow.
social media is a place where, you know, you can be who you want to be. You can curate a better version of yourself. And like,
Yeah.
I'm watching this documentary right now. I don't know, it's not really a documentary. It's called High Score. It's on Netflix, and it talks about the history of video games from the very, very beginning. And then the first time the first person in a video game space created the word, used the word avatar in a video game space, and you create your avatar. Literally, social media is that.
Mm.
You create these avatars of yourself and you curate that. And I'm not saying everybody does that. Some people, they just are who they are, and they're super authentic, and you can tell that's them on social media. But like others, I only want to do this. And like, so I can think about myself. I started a photography page because I just want this to be nothing but photography. I don't want this to be connected to my kids, my interests, my things in the community, just photography. That's an avatar. So like, and then you think about the whole perception, right? So then how are people perceiving me? Because in this photography space, I've befriended people from all over the world that I don't know. Our only commonality is photography.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like that would be an interesting that would be an interesting movie
So
because
you, the original person, is living your life out through different like parallels by
mhm
having different avatars, and
mhm
some people only know certain sides of you or certain degrees of you based on the avatars.
mhm
And then yeah, I mean how that builds into one person, that's a real person, because I have multiple accounts, one for photography, one for the label, one for me personally, and then other offshoots of things that I just wanted to separate. So
yeah,
it's
and
really interesting.
yeah, and it's like you craft it that way.
I,
I think it's great.
yeah, I got that too. Like I got my original IG account.
Mhm
I got the one for the clothing line, and then I have a separate one that because I want to start to shoot stuff other than stuff related to the clothing line.
Mm.
okay.
And I mean, I don't share that one as much. It's
Mhm
not as much content either, but
yeah. Yeah, and the crazy thing too, when you enter these spaces, right? It's interesting how you're received. I mean, like I never imagined because pretty much I was just like, I know I was gonna tell Trip and like my children, hey, go look at your dad's photography page. That's really it, dude. And then you start interacting with people, and then people start giving you tips and advice on how to get better at your craft. It's like and I'm very very new to the photography quote unquote community, but like most of the interactions it's a lot of positivity and a lot of information sharing. Is
Mhm.
really it provided a different outlet on social media because nobody's trying to be cool, nobody's trying to stunt or flash on somebody.
you know
Like
why
it's
though?
really interesting, dude.
You know why? Because
No.
this, you are, you are doing it on Instagram.
Okay.
Um, and originally Instagram was made for photographers. It wasn't made for social media and people like, you know, should post their OnlyFans and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it was a place where, and that's why it's just mostly pictures.
Gotcha.
Photographers would go share their pictures or whatever, you know, whatever you use to take your pictures and shit like that. Now the flip side is, because I'm on Facebook as well, and you're not.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's photography groups on Facebook
Mm-hmm.
that are supposed to be for beginners,
Hmm.
and it's like it's really like some of them are just motherfuckers trying to show how much more they know than you. Like,
Oh. So
you
that's a
know,
different vibe, right?
yeah,
Wow.
you know, because you just got to be careful and like don't really ask. Like, if you don't really want CC, then don't ask for, you know, correct constructive criticism, because you know a lot of photography is your style,
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of people are going to give constructive criticism based on their style. You
Oh.
know, and then like it's a beginner group. So like one time I posted some, I had some lenses. I came across some lenses for, you know, a pretty cheap price. So I bought them.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know, bought these lenses, not sure what they're best used for.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you got them, what you use them for.
Gotcha.
You get some people like, oh, I use it for this. This lens is great for that. I've never heard of that lens. This lens is this. And then you'll get an asshole like, you wasted your money.
Hmm.
Oh wow.
I didn't ask you to justify
My
how
purchase.
how I
Oh my
spend
god.
the money I earn on my own. Well, I'm just giving you my opinion. Well, I didn't ask you. You know,
You
so
said what you specifically said, what do you use them for? Not if this was a worthy
right.
purchase.
You know,
Whoa.
well, if I was you, I would have just bought this. Well, that's $1,000 fucking lens, asshole. I'm a fucking hobbyist. The
Yeah.
fuck I look like buying $1,000 lens just
Yeah,
to shoot,
yeah.
you know, every once in a while. Like,
Yes, I'm with I'm yes, I'm an enthusiast fam. Like I'm not I'm not really like my heart and soul ain't into this shit. It's cool, it's therapeutic, but no.
Even if your heart and soul was into, if I'm shooting photography professionally and I'm charging for shoots, I can justify in my head
for sure
spending $1,000 or $1,200 on a lens
because I'm
gonna get that. I'm gonna make that money back. That's a purchase. That's an investment.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I got 2 kids in high school.
Yeah.
I'm gonna buy a $1,200 lens just to shoot my friends for free.
Right. and the kids get peanut butter and jelly for 3 months.
Right.
Like you're making a sacrifice for your dad. Do you know how many sacrifices I made for you?
Like the fuck.
That's
and then like what can I say? Like you got your computer. You can be like, well, my computer didn't cost $1,200. Dad. I built it. It cost me $800. I bought it piece by piece.
He was like, maybe you should put together a lens, Dad.
Right. So yeah, it's just. I think you gotta, and that's one of them things where like you gotta protect. You gotta protect your peace, protect your space. So if you do, anybody who's listening, if you do go on Facebook and you join those groups, I would say look around, read the comments of what they leave on other people's shit.
Okay.
And then like, if it's one of those groups where like motherfuckers really not trying to help you, and they just want to like tear you down, like I'd find another group. Like constructive criticism is not supposed to be destructive. Like,
yeah.
You know, but I've ran across some other guys on Facebook. Like I posted a picture of a girl, and the guy was like, you know, he inboxed me. He was like, I like your picture. He's like, I really see promise in like your work. He was like, but you know, you should try this with your lighting and this with your lighting. And he was like, I got a tutorial I put together. Here's the link.
See, that's
like that
dope.
shit.
I love that shit. Yeah. I like that. Yeah. Yeah, man. That's what it's about, dude. And you know, so we think about it. So there's that. And those folks that are grandstanding they're presenting themselves as like elitist. I'm this, that, you know. You know, and it's, man, dude, it's crazy. And that's the thing about life, man. Like, as I get older, more and more I've started to, because I'll be real, from my 20s to maybe like just a few years ago, I always separated what I did. I separated that I did music from my professionalism, and like it would cross over a little bit. Like I would let 1 or 2 people know that I did music, but that was it. It wasn't a thing. I didn't become known as the music guy. But like as I've gotten older, it's just kind of like I'm gonna be who I'm gonna be in every single space. And if you rock with it, it's cool. If it's too much for you, that's cool too. But like I find myself enjoying life more, just being content and loving who I am, and not so much loving who I am because of the validation I get through my avatar. You know what I'm saying?
But you know what? And this is what I was gonna say when Demon was saying what he started out saying is that I think is like young, especially young men, we're giving this urge to do more by 40 than we really should be, you know, directed to do. Like,
oh wow,
I'm feeling like at 40, like we're really just starting life. You know, and
wow,
now those things that we were saying that we wanted to accomplish by 40, now those are things we should be working on now. Like, yeah, if you hit it, you know, off big in your 30s or 20s and you're rich, then great. But like the reality is, like in our fucking 20s, we're fucking still trying to realize who we are. Like, you got an idea of who you are, but you're not really sure. You know,
man,
in your 30s, in your 30s,
family shit happens in 30.
And then it's your 30s, you're like, yeah, I think this is who I am. I think I got this.
Right.
Yeah.
And then so now,
yeah.
Right. So now we're there. Like, so now it's like this is when we should be doing all that stuff or trying to make those moves. Like, we're still young at 40. Like, life is. life expectancy is not like 60 anymore. You know,
Right.
it's bigger than that.
Yeah. So let me ask you guys. So I like the fact that you said basically you start living at 40. Not start living, but you really start to get a more clear picture. So like I guess the question I have for you guys is like looking back now at your own 30s or whatever, like how do you let go of some of the, or do you let go of some of the really great things that you were or things that you accomplished as you usher into these 40s? Like if you're truly building who you are now, does that mean you completely let go of some of the all the old things, or you keep some of that shit too?
What do you mean? Like let go of what? Like
So like
I think the hardest thing to let go of is like that thought of like, damn, I'm not where I wanted to be yet, and realize
yeah, like
this is just a starting point to get to that next
yeah,
point.
like relationships. So I can say letting go of different relationships, but I can also say like if I think about myself as an artist, right? Um the only thing I wanted to do, I was just talking to somebody about this. We only sold my first project. After that, me and Trip, we gave away every project. So like kind of the way this streaming world works, I feel like, you know, we will, it's not that we are the only people that ever did this, but the mindset that Trip and I had is the mindset that like a lot of artists had to get used to when streaming became the main source.
Hmm.
Trip and I literally used my music for advertisement for the other shit that we did. I mean, honestly, like for us to be a two-man army, we did a hell of a job with merch and all of that shit. And like and then we started throwing our own shows. After we started seeing how these quote unquote promoters moved, me
Hmm.
and Trips were like, okay, if we sell our own merch and throw our own shows, we good. So let's give away the music and book our own shows.
Hmm.
Like, and that's what we started doing before a lot of MCs and before a lot of acts, man. Like we just we did that. So like, but now thinking about like, I remember telling Trip, we talked about this on the show. Like, how many times have I said I'm gonna stop rapping? Because I said at a certain age, I'm gonna stop rapping. You know what I'm saying? Like I bought into
but
the rap as a young man's sport, knowing how much I love it. When you think about what you're supposed to be by 40,
Hmm.
and I like Trip always laughs. I think I probably told Trip that I'm done with rap like 5 times minimum.
because rap is art, right? Rap is music, music is art, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I'm an artist and I paint portraits, do I stop painting at 40?
Nah.
Does me being 40 make me any less of a painter? Am I not good at painting anymore?
Nope.
If I start taking pictures in my 20s, do I stop at 40 because I'm too old to be taking pictures of people?
And you're not a world famous photographer by
Right.
yeah.
You know, do I stop, you know, if I'm even an R&B singer, do I stop singing because I turned 40? No, you don't. So the fact that people say you got to stop rapping at 40, that's bullshit. But you know where it came from. It came from when rap hit. People was like, "Oh, it's a phase.
Yep.
It's not gonna last.
Huh.
You don't
Mm-hmm.
even understand what they're saying." So
Mm-hmm.
then, when it lasted longer than what they thought, they couldn't say that anymore. So then
Yeah.
they had to be like, "Well, you're too old to be doing that. That's for the young cats."
Mm-hmm.
No, because it's for the young cats to you because you old. You were old when it came out.
Mm-hmm.
I grew up in this shit. This is what I know. So
Yeah.
why do I have to let go of what I grew up in to fit your ideal of what I should be doing at 40?
Yeah, I love it, man. Because that's, and you know, when you think about that, it's like, you know, like we talked about the interview that I talked about last week about when we were talking to Dave Mays about just like we are the first generation of hip hop, and who you don't we are, you know, we are hip hop, and then like I think some of that too, Trip, also comes from haters that don't like the fact that like, oh, you are still good. And then it also comes from people that sign artists and companies. It's easier to take advantage of a 19-year-old than it is to take advantage of a 37-year-old artist. And
Yeah.
that's also, how many stories have we heard about our famous, some of our favorite Motown greats,
Well, what it is that
Tupac, you know what I'm saying?
for them, it's easier to sell
Yeah.
a young artist,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what they took. So yeah, they'd be like, "Oh, you're too old. It's too hard to sell you." Well,
Yeah.
fuck no, it's not. Motherfucker, good is good.
Yep. Yeah, and then we have artists like we were talking about the Nas album. I mean, and we had different opinions about it, but like the fact that Nas can do the shit that he's doing as an MC at this age, Jay-Z, I would argue that he's better than he's ever been. But that's also goes like what Trip was saying. If you just start living your life at 40, your perspective is different. So how you channel your art is going to be different. So it's like, yeah, man, I think it's really one of those things where letting go of your expectations and embracing where you are.
Because
Well,
what you don't want to do,
Okay.
what we don't want to do is we don't want to end up being 50 and 60 and looking back and saying, "Damn, I wish I would have."
Yeah, that's
Because
big.
then it's too late.
Yep, that's big.
when you decide to take on new hobbies or things, before you go further to create a virtual avatar to carry that skill, you kind of make a decision to create a physical avatar of a portion of your mind, and you start to like wear different hats for different things you do.
Wow.
So creating
Yeah.
a digital avatar for different outlets that you may focus on, is that doubling the work? And it's kind of like a waste of time? Or as long as you use it right and not spend too much time and just have a place to display this separate life
I
that you
think
have?
I think it depends on who you are. I think it depends on who you are because where I think I'll use myself as an example. Now, when I do things, it's like if you're doing this just for the reaction of others, you shouldn't be doing this at this point. If your only purpose of doing this is for others' reaction, you shouldn't be doing it. But if you're passionate about it, do it for you. Do it for you, and that is your win. That is your takeaway. It's like so for me, every time I do a song, in my head, I'm like, bro, this is a fucking hit. This shit is amazing because when it's done, it feels good. And then I literally go when this shit finally hits Spotify and I'll listen to that shit like a fan. I'll put Spotify on my TV. Like, look at that shit. I created that logo too. And then I celebrate myself. But if I'm only like, damn, D-Man ain't said nothing about my song, Trip ain't said nothing about my song, these supposed to be my homies, then you're losing.
Yeah, that's such a good point because as a perfect comparison to that, our older daughter, who's a teenager, finally was able to create an Instagram account for herself,
Hmm.
and I finally was suggested to add her as a friend. I didn't realize she had an account,
Hmm.
um, and all it is selfies, and
Hmm.
it's so sad because you're so eager to get an Instagram account, and the first thing you do is just completely fill your wall with yourself, waiting for comments, compliments, and other things.
Yeah.
That's so
Yeah,
such a
it's fascinating too. You ever talk to kids? Like I talk to my kids and I'm like, Dad, Dad, you only got 8 likes. I'm like, my profile is not even public. They're like, why? Like for kids, the fact that like your shit is private blows their mind.
Mhm.
It blows their mind, bro. Oh,
Yeah. But it's just and that's the thing. Like, remember, it's just those are the different phases. They're in that superficial phase. Like everything is superficial.
yeah, it is.
Like
It
my
is.
daughter gets like these are clothes that I never see. Like she has clothes that I just never see. Like she never leaves out the house in these clothes. She gets dressed up. She'll do her hair. She'll do her makeup. She'll go outside and take pictures. She'll make her brother come take pictures of her, and then she take it off. And she put the pictures up on like Instagram and Facebook.
Wow. Yeah. That's interesting, bro. Yeah.
You know, and then, you know, she'll leave the house in like sweatpants and a hoodie.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
That's
know,
amazing, dude. That's amazing, dude. We just took my second oldest daughter, we just took her to campus this week. And that shit was crazy. That shit was crazy. Like, it was a whole damn day trip. It was a whole trip. And like, talk about like you know, like how you say like our brightest children still have this superficial element because their life is their life. Their life is only what's in front of them. So like we spend all this time getting her ready, doing all this other stuff, and then like, you know, it's been a while, so we gotta grab a bite to eat before we go, and then we can drop her off. Like, people are so used to living the life that they're living. Like, so we dropped her off, said our goodbyes, I love you, be good, all these things, right? And we're like a block away or whatever, and like, cause the kids went to Qdoba when my wife and I are in the car chilling, and like we get like 3 blocks away. She's like, "Can you guys come back and bring me some chips?" I'm like, "Hold up, we just dropped you off at college. We got your whole shit set up. All the goodbyes. I'm trying to make sure my lady's good." You know what I'm saying? And we 3 blocks away, and my wife is already starting to, you know what I'm saying? And she calls, and now my lady's even more. My wife is even more like, okay, she's calling, and then she's hello, and she goes, "Can you guys come back and bring me some chips?" I'm
I
like,
got the most important part.
yeah.
Everybody
she's like, I got salsa and I got guac.
So like,
Got no chips.
cause you know how they just give you when you go to go, they give you that one bag
Yeah.
of, you know, their in-house chips or whatever. So she could have grabbed some before she left, y'all. Cause like, dorm was set up like, so we just us went and got, so it wasn't like
She
we had
wasn't
to
thinking, man.
unload
Like,
anything else. Yeah, but that's
she's
like,
like, they finna leave me. I'm finna be up here by myself.
yeah,
Damn. It's real.
yeah. So keep
That
bringing-
first drop off,
yeah,
that first college drop off is like, damn.
yeah, man.
Do
It
we
was-
really want to do this?
So for me, I don't even know if it's hit me yet. I think I'm just excited for her to begin to experience this freedom. You know, and of course as a dad, you're like, okay, I'm really concerned about my baby's time management. Like, is she really gonna, and then you start analyzing. I'm like, okay, she's been putting this shit off. If you're gonna put this shit off, what are you gonna do when you get up there? You don't gotta do shit if you don't want to. So like, you know, like I'm excited for her, but then it's like, you know, at this point in time, you have to just believe in what you taught them and let them fucking fly.
Yeah.
Let them
Yeah.
fly. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's it.
I think the thing that made it a little easier for me was my first drop off was for summer camp or
Yes.
for football practice.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that made it a little easier
Yeah.
because you was dropped off and then like you moved in and shit. But then like 2 hours later, there's like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
Meet us over at the field house.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. So that's that. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool conversation. So like, I wanna transition us to I guess this would be the drama portion of the podcast. So like, we talk about a lot of shit. You know, we are a Wisconsin-based Midwest podcast. This is where we are from. But if you're listening and you're from elsewhere, we appreciate you. But like, you know, Wisconsin has been in the headlines, man. A lot of shit has been going on, and we're gonna talk about the Milwaukee Bucks making history. It's not to We're not minimizing the Jacob Blake situation. We know that situation is definitely unfortunate, and we've talked about this, but we've also been very aware that if we have this deep dive, we literally have had the same conversation when we talked about Floyd, we talked about Elijah McClain, when we talked about Breonna Taylor. So we've had some private conversations about that, and we're we just let our actions speak in regards to that, and we're not even going to dignify spending a lot of time on the 17-year-old terrorist either. But through that, the Milwaukee Bucks made history, and like, I'm not gonna lie, man. I remember I was doing the Profaning podcast with the homie Max, and I remember I was talking about this shit back when Cap was doing his thing, and I was like, you know, and my feelings with Cap have been all over the place, but like, you know, I was talking about I was like, nobody will ever have the balls to not play a sport. It's too much money involved and all these different things. And like, boy, you know how you eat your words and it's usually not a great thing. This is like probably the best piece of humble pie I've ever fucking had, bro. Like, I mean, the fact that the Bucks, they said, fuck that shit. We ain't playing. I never thought that shit would happen, let alone it happen and be sparked by our own hometown team. So like, I just want to acknowledge that shit, and just kind of open it up and see kind of your guys' thoughts on that.
Do you think before they made the statement or came out and decided to not play, they had conversations with their owners / managers, or do you think they just went and did it?
I think they definitely talked to the coach. I don't know about the owner / manager. Probably the manager too, because nobody from the Bucks side came on the court.
Yeah.
Nobody. Like nobody.
Yep.
And I think the dope part is that they showed up, because if they don't show up to the bubble, then the statement is not as strong.
Yeah.
But they showed up to the bubble, you know, with their Black Lives Matter shirts and stuff or whatever on. And they walked in, and, you know, the film crew showed them walking in.
Mm-hmm.
And then, you know, Orlando's out there warming up. No Bucks. No coaching staff. No trainers. Nothing.
Yeah.
And then Orlando goes into the locker room, and they never come back out.
Yeah, because, you know, they were filming. This is a nationally televised game, right? So
yeah, they're
they
showing warm up.
Yes.
You see 4 referees standing on the sideline like
Marco.
The only reason I'm curious about that is because, like, I think this is probably the first time ever where the players had the power to do something like this.
Mm-hmm.
There was no way that somebody could tell them otherwise, or like, or punish them.
Well, see, but that's the thing.
Because the people at this time have the right.
I believe that people have. I think the players always have this opportunity because these are billion-dollar organizations that have billion-dollar corporations backing them, and when they say action, they expect action. So I think players have always had this power, but have they known that they had you know, the courage to utilize it? I think is another question.
I think both of you are right. I think the players have always had the power. But also, like Dima, I think this platform is different because there was only 4 games that night.
Yeah.
So you think about if this was a regular basketball season and the Bucks say, fuck you, we not coming out, they could just switch to another game.
Yeah,
you know,
They can say, okay, well, we're going to bring you Phoenix versus whatever.
Right. You know, they could fix that, you know, within like a couple minutes or whatever. But they, you know, this was the only game being played at that time slot.
Yeah.
You know, or whatever. And there was no other nothing. And then I think the biggest thing is that so then you got the other 6 or 7 teams that said, you know what? We're going to stand with y'all.
Dude, I'm going to be real with you, bro. Like, so I'm tuning the game in, right? And I'm like, okay, this will be cool for me to just zone out, whatever. Because when this shit happens, I go through a wave of emotions before I can get back to center or whatever. So I'm like, okay, let's tune the game in. And I just think about the moment that I realize oh my goodness, these motherfuckers are not coming out. I was like, yo, these motherfuckers are not coming out, bro. And I'm like, never in my lifetime did I
The only
think
thing I didn't
that would
like
happen.
is that the way the league released their statement
What did they
about the
say?
game, because it was like in light of the incidents, blah 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
The NBA has decided to postpone the games. No, motherfucker.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You didn't decide to do
Oh, wow.
shit.
And then yeah, that's a good point.
You
And
had no fucking choice.
so at first they didn't say that for the Bucks. At first they said because the Bucks, like you said, they sparked the wave. But then, like you said, Trip, when everybody else jumped on board, and then LeBron retweeted that and said, "Boycott it, not protest it." Like
Yep.
I thought that I mean not boycotted, not postponed.
Hmm.
Like I think that shit, and then the NBA cleaned that shit up, and they said, in light of the boycotting or whatever, these games will be rescheduled. So, and I think the Bucks ownership did know, but I think the Bucks ownership is. I don't know much about this ownership group, but the rumor, word on the street is this ownership group really believes in these players.
It's a younger ownership group now than well, it was Herb Cole before, but it's a younger ownership group. And then I think when you got these young players and you've got this money invested in them, and they're saying, "This is how we feel," you could either ride with it or risk everybody asking for a trade. Do you really want Giannis asking for a trade?
And that's a very big statement right there, Trip. I'm glad you bring that up, right? Because Giannis is at the end of this contract. And the Bucks are doing everything that they can. They signed his brother. This is his older brother. The younger brother was in the league already. He had made it to the league. The baby brother is still, I think he just signed pro, but he just got out of high school. But the older brother was still balling overseas. That was strategic to bring his brother.
Yeah.
I think it was even strategic to bring Robin's brother over as well. And like you said, y'all don't want to lose Giannis, and to be part of history, to now be part of the Milwaukee Bucks made history with one of the darlings of the league. It's definitely a business move. Like, you don't want to say that, but it's real. And it was a business move as well.
And I think if owners did get wind of this beforehand and they had a minute to think about it, they probably thought it was a great idea.
Yeah.
Well, they probably talked about it the whole night before. And you got to also remember, because, these guys are under contract. This isn't their first protest. Like, they've marched in Milwaukee.
Yes.
When the other protests were going on, it was peaceful. And they told the people, we can't be out here rioting and looting with you, but we can peacefully march with you. And they marched.
And they did. You're right. So they kind of already let the owners know what kind of time they were on. So like you said, Dima, I believe it was a very quick decision. We kind of already know how they feel. And now this is more fucked up. And this is in our backyard. And by the way, it's a good business move.
It's going to help publicity.
And the reality is, because the Milwaukee Bucks, you think about history books, right? Literally, this franchise, I remember this picture, and it was Jim Brown and Muhammad Ali, all of those folks in the room at the same time. A young Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I think he was, if he was in college, I think he was playing with the Bucks at that time, and they were all making this huge statement. And now I think whoa, this just happened, and it's my hometown team.
Well, I look at it like this too. Like, if you was a coach, and I know if I was a coach or owner, and my team came up to me, and we're in a 7-game series, and they look, Mr. Trip, Buckwheat, we're in a 7-game series. We up 3-1. We really can't focus on the game tonight with the shit that's going on at home.
Yeah.
Because this is going on at home, and our families are there.
Yeah.
We don't want to play tonight.
Yeah.
You stand with us on not playing tonight, we'll bring this home. We're 1 game away.
It's a good point, bro. because when they came back, they were nasty. I
Hmm.
watched that game, and I think about that one play. Giannis goes up with like this, and then he just turns that motherfucker over and yams it. I just like, okay, that's not fair, bro.
Because the
Like,
flip side is, what if you make them play? They play like shit
yep.
because they're thinking about home, and
Mm-hmm.
now the whole momentum of the series switch,
Yeah.
and you go from being up 3-1 to losing 4-3.
Yeah, and George Hill even went as deep to talk about his mental health and anxiety, just because life in a bubble, like it's for people that are family people, that like my NBA career is good because I can always, my wife and children can travel with me every city I go to, and we can I can get my family time in because this is
Yeah,
our life because I'm a pro ball player. There's a lot of sacrifice. And I think that's another reason why they had to ride with them, because every person in that bubble made a sacrifice.
Hmm.
They're not like, you can easily bring your wife, your best friend, your own personal whatever, and every player could travel, with their 8-person entourage. So to not have that shit be like that should be dramatically reduced. Like that shit was taking a toll too. So
yeah,
so here's a conspiracy. I'm definitely an NBA conspiracy theorist, right? So I'm gonna
yeah.
put this out in the universe. 2001, uh, the Bucks are playing the Philadelphia 76ers, Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Finals. We win this game. We play the Los Angeles Lakers, so Shaq and Kobe in a motherfucking world championship. Prior to that Game 7, Scott Williams, who wasn't a big scorer, but he was a very pivotal player, he gets suspended. Without Scott Williams, the Bucks lose. Fast forward, the Bucks create history. They make history. They boycott it in the bubble. All these things addressing systemic oppression. Not only do they make history, they go on to win the NBA championship. I need my storybook ending, guys. I need my storybook ending. I need all the basketball gods everywhere to anoint the Milwaukee Bucks to win this championship and make history. Because I'm gonna be real, in my head, LeBron, this bubble was set up for LeBron because LeBron is getting older, and LeBron can't afford to wait another year. As well as he takes care of his body, this bubble was set up for LeBron to win another championship. And that's my conspiracy theory. So now I'm like, I need the basketball guys to shift focus. Give it to the Lakers next year. I need the Bucks to bring it home, y'all.
When is this happening?
It's got to happen this year. It's got to happen this year. So basically, we play the Miami Heat next, and that's not a cakewalk because they surrounded Butler with a lot of three-point shooters, and they're scary. And also, Toronto's playing very well. And then you look on the other side, and you got LeBron and AD. They're looking very scary. I stopped watching the game yesterday.
here's
So,
here's my thing
mhm,
that I think might happen.
okay.
I think this bubble might change the way the NBA playoffs happen in the future.
What you mean?
Because I think by doing it this way, I think you ended up trimming a lot of the fat, and you just got a lot of dope, high energy series.
Yeah.
Because you didn't start out with the whole, like the big group at the beginning, like
Yeah.
the usual playoffs, like.
Yeah, they shed it by like at least 2 teams each conference, right? I can't remember, but they shaved it down a little bit because they kind of had this play-in shit.
Yeah. So
Wow.
I think this makes it more competitive. Like it'll even make the season more competitive. Cause now you can't shoot for that bottom seat. Like it would be like if
Oh
the
my! So they keep doing the play-in for the 8th seed.
I think it's better for the consumer, but I think advertising dollars aren't there, so they're gonna come back to the.
I don't know, bro. I would spend more money on a play-in game because think about it. The NCAA they already were at 64. They expanded to 68. Why? Because it was money there.
Because think about this, Dima. Think about when the pandemic's over, and then it's still a play-in at Walt Disney or wherever they do it at. Maybe it goes to a different city every year.
Or when arenas open back up. Or you saying always have a bubble for the play-in? Is that what you're saying?
Or whatever. I don't know. Whatever, just the way they switch it. So then now there's less games. So that means there's less opportunities to watch. So now you charge more on the tickets.
Oh, for the
then they're gonna.
Woo! Wow.
Concession prices can go up.
Yep.
Oh, because you're gonna pay $10 for this hot dog because it's LeBron.
And you get play-in merchandise. That's like, and then you know, it's always it's never a bad idea to do a new an alternate jersey. So like,
because then what if it's like what if if the NFL got rid of the wild card game?
Yeah, and that's a play-in game.
And now you can no longer shoot for the wild card seat. So you can't get in with what's the wild card record usually, like 8 and something or whatever.
It's like 500 damn near, and sometimes So now you can't get in being like 9 and 7 anymore, or 8 and 7 in the wild card game. Now you got to play in. Man, that's a lot of money, dude. That's a lot of money, dude. I don't know.
And it's a lot of money for the players too, because now it's like in my contract, you know, if we play in, I get this bonus.
Yep. Yeah, because you already have they already have contracts, right? So if we make the playoffs, I get X amount of money, and you know, players get paid for the playoffs. So now it's like you add that other tier. If we make it to the play-in, boom. Or if we were already the number 1 seed, we get that play-in money anyway because we're the number 1 seed. So that's a lot of money to be made, bro. I could see it, dude. That would be fantastic. And the NBA, they're already being looked at as like one of the most like kind of they have the best what is Silva called? Commissioner. They have the best commissioner in sports right now because he seems to really listen to the players. You know, NHL looks like they've done very little with supporting these causes and things like that. NFL, we already know how they've botched everything, and with their arrogance with cap and everything like that. They've kind of got a stain. And then
and the thing is, like some people would like to say that the NBA learned from the NFL's mistake. No, because the NBA, the commissioner now banned its owner years ago. Yeah. For the comment he made.
Sterling, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sterling.
He's banned from the NBA for life.
Yeah, so you're right. You're right. The NBA has already been. They've always been more on the front end, and on top of that, if we want to keep it all the way 1,000, the NFL could have done what the NBA is doing back when cap happened. Everything that's happening, you know, aside from the pandemic, but what they did, how they stood, all of that stuff, they could have done every single thing that the NBA is doing, but they chose arrogance. And
actually, you know what? They didn't even have to do what the NBA is doing. All they had to do was let the man take a knee. Like that was it. Like he didn't boycott the game.
He wasn't disrupting anything.
He didn't say I wasn't gonna throw any passes.
Yep.
He didn't say anything. He just I'm gonna take a knee.
Yeah.
Let the man take a knee.
Yep. And then the irony of that too, that the Bucks boycotted 4 years from the first time Cap did, also on Wisconsin soil. Like, you know, so like, you know, Milwaukee's always looked at as one of these like little small market places, whether it comes to entertainment, sports, and all these different things. But showing up on a national scale like this, man, it's amazing, and it makes you proud. You know, Kenosha's just, you know, that's our neighbor. You know, we got friends and family that, you know, but when you think about Milwaukee, I mean, you think about Wisconsin, the major city, you know, that folks always talk about is it's Milwaukee, and then it's the offshoot. It's the offshoot of that. So, you know, salute to the Milwaukee Bucks, man, for doing what they did, and then everybody else following suit. And you know, it took a lot of courage. It took a lot of courage for that, man. So, yeah. So that's that, man. In addition to that, I guess before we close, and you know, we just kind of I wanted to just highlight and just talk about the passing of Chadwick Boseman. Um, Super dope actor. For me, this was a
How
he
old
was he was 43.
43.
Yeah, and you know, it of course came out that he's battling this for 4 years, and stuff like that. And there's been a lot of stuff that has come out about, like, you know, of course he knew, but he kept doing what he was doing, and just with like so much pride and professionalism and stuff like that. And I've had some conversations outside of, you know, the podcast about like and I also I follow like Lil Duval on social media. I follow him on Twitter and I follow him on Instagram. And Lil Duval posted something because he lost a very near and dear friend as well, who also had cancer. I don't know if it was the exact same type. And he pretty much was saying like, Lil Duval, as funny as he is, he's an optimist about life. And you know that song "Living My Best Life" that was a hit. I think it was easy for him to do that song. I don't even think he expected it to be that big, but he's always like go with the flow kind of person. And he's like he said something like, you can learn a lot from somebody who's dying, because they carry themselves like they find a way to capitalize and live in the moment, to really appreciate every single moment. Like he said, his guy didn't tell anybody until the very last year. Like, so he was having these moments and doing these things. And you know, a lot of places have been playing Chadwick stuff where you hearing him speaking, you hear him talking all these different things. He's so much full of life, man. I just thought, you know, definitely wanted to kind of pay our respect to him.
Nope.
Yeah, man. And like and I couldn't go without saying like how I first started watching him was I was watching this show called Lincoln Heights. I posted this like on my IG page. On Lincoln Heights, he was like he was not even a main character. It was a whole family. It was like basically like one of those cop shows. It was a black cop, his black wife and their children, and then like Chadwick was like an older son from a previous relationship. So that was my first time seeing him act. And he did that show. Lincoln Heights was a phenomenal show. If you haven't, I would highly recommend it. And he killed that shit. And then from there, you just see him do all these other roles, man. Like, very versatile actor. Because you know, some of my favorite actors can only do 2 roles. I'm not gonna lie, bro. Some of my favorite actors, you know, what's the one kid, the one dude, Jason Statham or Stratham, whatever. He's always the ornery Brit that beats everybody's ass. You got him. That's all he can do. Every single movie, I'm like, he is getting a bag, and he plays the same dude every movie. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Like no practice needed.
Right.
No practice needed. All
So
he
you
gotta
want me
do
to do the
is
same thing I did the last 5 movies?
just stay in
All right.
shape. And then when we think about how we've been duped, right? With Steven Seagal, he was doing the same shit. Van Damme was doing the same shit.
Yeah.
He was doing The Rock is doing the same shit. I'm like, bro, we've been duped, because you think of these other actors and actresses that are so fucking versatile. I'm like, yo, that's what a will.
You know why we were duped with Steven Seagal?
Talk to me.
Dude, fat as fuck. But he fucking martial artist. Whooping everybody ass. Like, the fuck?
He said, how many, like, 8 Twinkies in between sets, in between shoots?
Like, he was never in fucking shape. At least, like...
He was hiding with that leather coat, bro.
But he was whooping everybody ass. At least the other motherfuckers was in shape.
Yo, Steven Seagal is the first body positive action hero.
Man.
Oh my god. Oh man, you're right, bro. Like same fucking role, dude. Same fucking
That's
role.
why they never let him go against Chuck Norris.
Hell yeah. He was like, wait, I gotta chase him upstairs?
Chuck Norris would have whooped dude ass.
No, he would have just ran for like 5 minutes, and then he would have been tired, and he would come back and just go, boop.
He just ran in circles around him and shit. I'm not touching you. I'm not touching you.
Oh, dude, that's hilarious, dude. And not even that laugh. That was awesome. So, like, any parting words, fellas, before we get out of here? Any
Hey, you know what?
drop on
I saw the dope. I think I shared it too. I saw the dopest picture. I shared it on Instagram. It was a little kid. He took all his action figures and he stood them in like a semicircle.
Yeah.
Like they were at the Black Panther's funeral.
Yeah.
And it was like all the action figures standing up, and he had Black Panther laying on the ground like he was at his funeral. I think it was really dope. And then I saw another kid do it. He had all his action figures lined up against the garage door.
Oh wow!
And then he had some flowers, and then he had Black Panther and Tony Stark.
Oh wow!
Laying down like it was their funeral.
That's cool, dude. And like the funny thing is, like, some people are mad. Some people are like, "Why are parents doing this to their children?" I'm like, we don't know what happened before that picture happened. Like everybody doesn't. This is a great way to end, right? Everybody doesn't curate through their avatar their children's sorrow. Like everybody.
I don't think parents are making their kids do it. I think kids watch TV, and when you see
so they're gonna see this anyway, right?
Because they don't know him as Chadwick anyway.
Right.
They don't.
They know him as Black Panther.
And that means they're not gonna see him in another Black Panther. So for a kid, this is like they're honoring him because like you said, they didn't know Chadwick. So I just found that interesting that that's that, like you said, in that one group where people just want a grandstand. It's like everybody ain't out to like monetize their children, fam. Everybody's not trying to baby shark their kid. like man, like yeah, man. So any other final words from you fellas?
No, man.
Avatar.
Embrace like embrace like every side of you, and if that means you got to have like 8 avatars to have 8 different safe spaces to display your 8 different whatever, then do that, and gives a shit what everybody else thinks.
Yep.
I'm with it. Well, fellas, this has been a great episode. I was talking to my lady. She was like, "So what are you guys going to talk about?" I was like, "Well, I got 2 things. Everything else, it's just going to flow." And like, I swear to goodness. And then I told her, dude, I said, the best shows, we don't really plan anything. And because we can have this genuine, authentic conversation and we can go everywhere because we're not scripted. So that's why we are the motherfucking Melodrama Podcast, man. So
motherfucking.
You know what I'm saying? So we couldn't care less. We fucking love y'all. Peace.
Peace.
Boom.
Yeah.
That's a good one for the books.